And welcome to the latest edition of the 941 Sports Zone. We're 5 episodes away from a full year, John Massoni. John Final Four Massoni. Isn't this the second time you've been John Final Four Mazzoni
So
because you were that
I
during the
wanted,
tournament?
I wanted to see if anybody caught the irony of that. I'm like, it is the Final Four, formatted in such a way too that now I saw this is why it came up. I saw somebody said, "Will soccer go to 64?"
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that a little bit
Wow,
later. Yeah.
that would be an interesting logistical situation. And not remember I said before, I thought that 48 made it hard, or to be to have certain countries be able to handle the magnitude of this. Now you're talking about another 16 more
16.
teams.
Yeah.
That means
Another
at least 4 more venues.
and
At
another
least.
round of playoffs and everything else. I mean,
Yeah.
it is quite interesting. But we'll get into that. We'll get into the World Cup and the salaciousness of FIFA. We'll also talk a little bit about Wimbledon. Major League Baseball's reached the All-Star break. We'll kind of do a public service if you're watching live. And by the way, we are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube as usual, but we are also live on Twitch now. Now, for this week, yes, for this week only, I'm telling you it's at my channel, Spits on Sports. But next week, we will create our own 941 Sports Zone channel where you're going to be able to find us at any time. Anyway, the 941 Sports Zone presented by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. Locally owned, nationally backed, delivering exceptional roofing for homes and businesses throughout the Gulf Coast. 941-251-4257 is the number. 941-251-4257. Let's start with the World Cup because it is the biggest thing going on. And it is actually helping us in what is normally a black hole in sports talk and podcasting. But it's been quite the tournament. And I'm going to say this very facetiously, somehow the Final Four is the top 4 countries in the world. Somehow they made it.
Yeah, and the thing is say you say there's usually in most things you don't get 4 number 1 seeds if you can actually call them that.
Mm-hmm.
So to get the 4 number 1s there, some crazy ends to some of these matches. But very entertaining. Even from you have a lot of controversy in regards to some of the calls that were made. The Swiss team was a little upset losing their top striker at that one point in the game. But again, it's hard to argue, Rich, with this VAR system. Having replay on certain things. I know they say they shouldn't slow it down over, but you're actually getting a chance to kind of review it and kind of get it right in most cases. I don't know if it still doesn't make anybody happy, or maybe that there's people that will argue about how good the VAR, how it works is there, but nonetheless, it is there. Because there's been some times I can imagine. Think about one of the most famous games in the world, which is actually going to be a repeat this year with Argentina and England, where the hand of God with Maradona when he punched the ball into the net, not headed it, but punched it in there, and that would have changed. Could have changed a lot of things in history of the World Cup.
Yes, it could have. However, is VAR going too far? I kind of and let's all right. We'll get into that. Let's go into the 4 matches. First off, I couldn't have been any more wrong about my lock of the week, as I'm still waiting for Morocco to arrive in Boston.
Yeah.
They didn't. Day of the game, France just destroyed them. I know the score was 2-0. Could have been 5 or 6-0. Morocco, I think, only got off 4 shots in the game. Not 4 shots on goal, 4 shots total.
Yeah.
While France had upwards of 20. It was a one-sided affair. It was really the only truly one-sided affair of the quarterfinals. France looked very dominant, and because of that, they're going to be favored over Spain, which I found a little bit surprising.
Well, most of the pundits that on Fox are saying that they're all in love with France. That
Mhm.
if France shows up, and wants and plays where they can, there's no one that can beat them. They're saying at this point. And by the way, was I kind of dreaming this? But did Morocco have a bunch of guys that were French on their team?
Well, I mean, I believe it was at one point. This is where our history comes in. Weren't they once a French colony or something
That's
like that?
that's what that
So,
comes down to. So some
yeah.
of the younger guys, there was one guy in particular from Morocco. He was maybe 18 years old. They said he's French. He's going to be on the French team eventually. But yeah, they had an opportunity to get those guys. And by the way, a lot of people don't recognize this, but if you have dual citizenship, you pick where you want to go. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? A couple of the guys from the U.S. team have dual citizenship, and they've chose to be on the U.S. team. Would they have played for the team that where they come from? Probably not. But nonetheless, that it's spreading the wealth in some ways.
Okay. Well, again, it was a one-sided no contest in Boston on Thursday. On Friday, a much better game. Spain uh, and Belgium played a really good match. Uh, Belgium actually scored first, and to Spain's credit, was it Spain that scored first and Belgium came right back? Either way, the two goals were within minutes of each other. It was 1-1 late, and then you really don't want games to end like this. But the goaltender for Belgium had a little bit of a brain fart. Ball was shot right at him. You have to cover that ball up.
Right. Right.
There's a juicy rebound. It's buried. You end up losing 2-1. And I know all the players from Belgium certainly were behind him and said all the right things after the game. But boy, that locker room had to be, man, we had them right where we wanted them.
Yeah, and it was and he has played spectacularly in the tournament. I think
Mhm.
he's also one of the more he's a very well thought of goaltender as well.
Mhm.
Just not getting that thing secure right off his chest, teed it right up, and it was housed. There was no problem that was going in. So yeah, it is kind of hard to see. It's a tough break for them, but a great run. And I mean, the route of the U.S. by Belgium was legit.
Mhm.
They were that could have went either way of that game,
Yep.
and Belgium would have put up a good fight with anybody going in the semifinals.
So Spain and France is one semifinal. That's the Tuesday afternoon game. It's at 3 in the afternoon, which is actually perfect because I believe that's 9 o'clock in both France and Spain, 9
Right.
o'clock p.m. Tuesday night. So that works out well. Of course, Major League Baseball is the All-Star game, so they weren't playing any later than that anyway. But nonetheless, um, excellent matchup. As I mentioned, France is a slight favorite. I believe last I saw France was minus 152 and Spain was plus 128. I might have to put a couple of shekels on Spain, although I have sworn off betting after the England Norway game. We'll get that. I have sworn off betting for the rest of the World Cup because I don't trust FIFA. I really just don't. And like I said, why don't we just get right into that? The England
Oh yeah.
Norway game was a tremendous match. Norway hung right with them, and England had the right strategy. They blanketed Erling Haaland. They blanketed him. He
Right.
was
Right.
not going to score, and yet Norway played extremely well. Got the first goal that seemed to throw England for a little bit of a loop, but they got a huge break after that. And this is where I have an issue. And FIFA is standing behind the fact that there was no visual evidence that the goal kick from the Norwegian goaltender hit a guide wire for one of the television cameras, and instead of going an extra 10 to 20 yards, fell straight at the feet of an English player who, by the way, it led directly to the tying goal.
Oh,
I mean, I
they
don't,
scored 30 seconds later. Yeah.
right. It literally, they scored on the next buildup. It's just unbelievable. Tie game. They go to extra time. England scores early. Tremendous game. 2-1 the final. I know it's a little sour grapes for me, but I thought Norway played extremely well. First ever trip to the quarterfinals. They did not look, camera shy. They did not look
No,
like the moment was too much for them. This turned out to be a tremendous game. And England gets to the semifinals. Um, and they kind of shake a little bit of something I said about them last week was they're the Toronto Maple Leafs of soccer, having not won since '66. They haven't won it yet, but they're there in the semis as one of the top 4 seeds.
I agree with you on the guide wire incident. I think that was something that should have been corrected. I will say this: that was a very, very tough environment to play in. 99 degrees on the field, I believe, if not.
Yeah,
more
both
than
teams from like Scandinavia and,
Cool.
and the UK. I mean,
cool temperatures.
yes.
It looked like Hovland. He looked like he was a little worn down.
Yeah.
I think the heat got to him just standing out there in that heat, and it's Miami, so it's super humid as it is, and you're in a stadium that's partially enclosed. It's got that big hole in the middle, like the old Dallas Cowboy Stadium, or out in Irving, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the same kind of setup, so it can rain on you while the fans are sitting in comfort. But that did not happen. I thought the English crew showed a little more athleticism all around. That made them look like maybe the better team in stretches. I thought at the end, you saw the one defenseman for Norway. He was done. He couldn't get. He was cramping up.
And they were out of subs till they went to extra time.
Right, and that's right. And so that was an interesting scenario played out. Interested to see about England. I think they have the how do I put this in a proper context? It seems like everybody assumes, like, because the England group looks a little bit more on a whiter side, I guess you would say. They're not as athletic in some cases. But I think that they're a very athletic team. I think that I thought that some of the substitutions at the end of the game really made a difference. You could see their subs were already fast guys with a lot of athleticism, and they were running rings around some of the Norway guys in that extra time. So I think that we look at England a little differently. But I think that they are as athletic as any of the other teams are, maybe not as skilled as Argentina in that matchup, because when Argentina scores, or when they're on their game, it is beautiful to watch. The ball, the passing, the anticipation that it requires to do this stuff. They are in moments. There's no better soccer team in the world by far. They have moments where you're like, where did that come from? But I think when it's going to come down to, I think if they're going to be surprises, I think England's going to be able to match them physically, and as far as athleticism is concerned. Really looking forward to that matchup. I think the France-Spain matchup is going to get more headlines because of the fact that it's the two best European countries or teams playing in that semifinal. But Argentina and England could be a fascinating game to watch when it comes down to it.
No, I don't think there's any question. As a matter of fact, I think there'll be more viewers for the England-Argentina match on Wednesday than there will for Tuesday, for 2 reasons: Harry Kane and Lionel Messi. I mean, that right there, it's the star power is going to make a huge difference.
And Bellingham is actually probably the better of the two of Kane, and he presents a big matchup problem in and around the goal. So that's where I see them saying, like, when you're matching up, Messi's got guys too. Don't get me wrong; he's not the only guy in Argentina who can make plays. You saw the goal to go up 2-1. That is a work of art. Being able to bend that ball into the top left corner of the goal, not even a chance for the goalie to get to it. And he wasn't, what was he? He was outside the box when he took that shot. So that was
just outside.
Net on. Right. So just a fantastic shot. But again, I think you're going to see that when it comes down to it, you're going to get to like the 60th minute, 60, 70 minute, and you're going to say, England's, they're good. They're running around with these guys with no problem. So we'll see how that works out.
Well, Australia, or sorry, Australia, I Chihuahua, Argentina's been the great escape artists. They've
Yes.
played 3 consecutive games in extra time, and they're an older squad.
Yes.
Wonder if that comes into play, even though there's plenty of time between these matches. But Argentina and your Swiss, and I call them your Swiss because that was your lock of the week last week in the round of
Right.
16, and they ended up probably one of the most boring games of the tournament, but they took care of business in the penalties and advanced. But they were playing with Argentina. I know Argentina scored very early, got up 1-0, and even I turned to my son, who's a huge Argentina fan and a huge soccer fan, and he's like, this is going to be 3-4-0. Wasn't. As a matter of fact,
No.
Switzerland played extremely well, got the equalizer in the second half, and then the controversy in that game.
Right.
Just and again, I'm not, VAR is good for penalties in the box. I think
Off
for
go across
things
the
that are,
line. You never know. You don't
yeah,
see it right. Yeah.
right. The official calls it, and then you go to VAR and confirm. I don't like the fact that, and this is the same thing that happened with, the Team USA striker who got red carded. There wasn't even a call on the field. Basically, VAR took
Right.
over, and they did this same thing against Switzerland and basically ended the game. I know it went to extra time, but without their best player, how in the world are they going to score against Argentina? It drives me crazy. I guess, and everybody says, well, you're just Americanizing everything, and you're just used to this one system, and blah blah blah. I've been mocked actually at times by some soccer people, but this just doesn't make any sense to me. Could you imagine a long pass downfield? It's incomplete. There's no flag on the field, but the replay booth goes, wait a minute, I think there was pass interference. I think we're going to overturn this, and we're going to turn this into a 38-yard penalty because it was way down. Could you imagine that
No.
happening in the NFL? I mean,
No.
holy crap. The places would be burning down.
Right. And especially at a game of this magnitude, if there was an NFC championship game or an
Mhm.
AFC championship game, something along those lines. I think sometimes, we get we using it as a tool, not to call penalties per se, but to verify penalties per se. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so in that particular case, his embellishment of what didn't happen to him making a, causing, making it look like it was something it wasn't, while in spirit, and maybe to the lay person, soccer fan says, yeah, they shouldn't be allowed. That's what slows the game down. It makes it look stupid, blah, blah,
It's
blah,
a
blah,
yellow
blah.
card, not a red card.
Correct. It's to
Oh.
say that of course everybody's trying to do it. That would be like, getting a double technical on a guy in the NBA because he didn't get, he flopped before the guy came into him for a charging call. It's the same thing. So I think that's they took it a little too far, too much to the letter of the law. And by the way, let them play.
Thank you.
It's the biggest game of the year. Everyone gets bigger and bigger. Don't be a part of the game. Keep everything inside the lines as much as you can, but don't make a call that you become where you take the best player off the field. Look, if it would have happened and Donald Trump was actually in the arena, he might have been able to have some influence over this, depending on what's going on.
Tongue firmly planted in cheek there, but
he seems to have the ear of FIFA, so whatever that means.
Right. Well, Argentina scores 2 in extra time for the second time. They scored 2 against Cape Verde in extra time too. So they saved their best for last for sure. One guy that's been really good for them is actually usually a defender, but he's had to be moved up because of some injury, and that's Romero, who's normally a defender on Tottenham. And the only reason I know that is because I'm a Tottenham rooter. Had to sweat relegation, but he's been tremendous for Argentina, and some of the other ancillary players have been as well. So it's not just Lionel Messi, but they have when they've had to, they have gotten what they've needed. And here they are in the semifinals against England. And John, I know you're not a betting guy,
Mhm.
but England is favored in this game.
Well, listen, Rich, I just so you know, that's exactly where I was going. They should be favored. And here's
Okay.
why. So go back to what we were talking about the last game. The Argentinian team,
Mhm.
they are waiting for Messi to make a play. That's why there's a
Right.
slow start. They're
Right.
kind of waiting for him to set the tone. He's the guy. Like any sport, I'll use basketball maybe more than any other, but waiting for your guy to get hot. You know, how come the Knicks lost game 3 to the Spurs? Maybe because Brunson didn't get off quick enough or did whatever it may be. Sometimes that's the catalyst to put what may be a 4-1 win or a 3-1 win, but your superstar got us started, and that's what they're looking for.
Mhm.
That's my point about this. I do believe that the England squad, it has a really, really good chance of winning this match because they do represent a much more a team in total. I think they may be a better squad. I don't think they're as skilled again as the Argentinians. They are with the ball. They're wizards with the ball. But I think that the English team is much more a cohesive team. I think that if you twisted my arm, I would have to say I would think England is going to win that match. We will see. But I will say this: that's going to be packed
Mm.
wherever it is. I know it's in Atlanta,
It is in
so
Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Dome.
you're gonna have Argentinian fans and English fans. I can imagine. Can you imagine the parking lot or downtown Atlanta for that day? Wow, you may have to close down I-75 because it may be clogged up trying to get through downtown Atlanta. Might be impossible. So we'll see. Looking forward to both matchups. I don't think that FIFA could have drawn up a better Final Four.
Oh, you said it perfectly. Drew
Yep.
it up.
True. Well,
Sorry.
that's true.
Sorry.
Well,
Sorry.
no. I'll say this to you:
Sour grapes.
when you're talking about with FIFA reminds me of how they do business, a little bit like the Olympic Committee.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of the same flair to them, or I don't really, but everything seems to stink just a little tiny bit. There's a little stink in the air. You never know what's going to happen. Always seems to be some sort of controversial deal with a judge or something along those lines. The Summer Olympics, it was the women's gymnastics situation with the second and third and whatever came up with that. You've had other things where the ice dancing team from the U.S. didn't win when they clearly should have won, and like that kind of a thing. So those things always pop up, and it's always like, well, what are we going to do about it? What can we do? That kind of thing.
Well,
But
that's what
isn't
you
it a
get when
great
you're.
show?
Isn't that great when your scoring in your sport is subjective?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And then having the ability to correct a play that maybe didn't need to be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of a thing goes into it. So you never know. And again, I'll go back to our president. He got involved and got a red card turned into a yellow card, and lo and behold, we got a guy back. But did it really matter?
No.
I think that was the funny part about it was, if I don't follow soccer, I'll tell you that I know enough to be dangerous. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
but there was really no chance with or without.
No.
With I'm drawing a blank on the player again, but it just didn't matter.
Delusion.
Yeah. It would not have. It did not matter. He was.
In fact, I will go one step further. He did score the only goal on a free kick and was a thing of beauty. But I think Belgium was actually more emboldened by the fact that he was playing.
You made them mad.
Yes.
There was no sneaking up. That's why they came out and scored a goal. What, in the first 2 minutes of the game?
Yeah, well, they almost did. I think it was 7 or 8. It was quick. It was obvious from Jump Street that we were clearly overmatched in that match.
They had to make a great save with 2
Yes.
minutes in.
Yep.
Okay, so it was over. I'm like, oh, this is good. This is bad. And
Mhm.
they look bigger and faster and motivated.
More skilled.
So, absolutely. And so I was like, boy, you didn't do anybody any favors by making that happen.
No.
And so it ended up being a negative in the long run and for in a lot of different ways.
All right. So again, Tuesday, France, Spain, 3:00, Arlington, Texas, indoors. And England, Argentina in Atlanta, also indoors, well, north of Atlanta, I should say, also at 3 p.m. So everybody gets to watch the game pretty much in prime time, except for
Yes.
Argentina, is, I think, is due south of us. So I think it's either 3 or 4 o'clock there. So it's
Yeah,
not,
it's still pretty
but
good.
they don't
Yeah.
care. The country stops anyway when they
No one's
play it.
no one's working that
Yeah.
day.
They are the defending champs, and we'll see if they're able to defend. Of course, before we come back on next Monday, when we come back on, and that's when we come in normally live, it'll be all over. The third place game is on Saturday, and the championship game is at, what do they call it? New York, New Jersey Stadium? I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
nobody has any names, right? Yeah,
And that's going to be played on Sunday. Interesting that the two games are indoors, and yet both the last two games I watched, one in Arlington and one in Atlanta, it looked awfully warm inside for an indoor game.
yes,
And I
you're
wonder if that's
100%
just
right.
and I wonder if that's the fact that the stadium was just jam packed and all that body heat that the AC just couldn't keep up.
It's possible, and then forget it's when you're indoors. A lot of times those 99-degree days, and
Mhm.
you're getting pelted. That it's hard to crank it up. And keep it
Windows.
cranked up. Yeah,
Yep.
really hard.
Both stadiums have windows. Obviously, Arlington's are a little more famous because their receivers complain about it. Did I say that out loud? You said there was going to be not much football in this, but
Well,
we managed to ruin.
that's why you don't. What they say, you don't put the stadium facing east and west.
Yes.
Use the opposite way.
Yeah.
Or that's. But there was
Or you
another
don't use
stadium-
windows. Or you
What-
don't
yeah,
use windows.
What was the other stadium had or has a similar problem to that? I'm trying to remember. There was some.
You put
other
me on
stadium-
the spot here. I don't know. I can't. I
Was
don't
it was it the old Texas Stadium?
know. No, the old Texas Stadium could have with the shadows with the
There was
the
another one
small
where-
hole.
Looking back into the sun to catch a ball
Yes.
was impossible. Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Yep. You could very well be right there. All right, 941 Sports Zone. That's the soccer portion of it. Then we'll have one more, and then guys like Robert Ellingson, who's in the chat room, will finally. He's like, soccer, really? Yeah, I mean, it's the World Cup. We talk about it every 4 years. Come on, give me a
Right.
break.
Right.
Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida bringing you this edition of the 941 Sports Zone. 941-251-4257 is their number. Locally owned, nationally backed. God, I hope that roof doesn't have any holes in it. I hear it's been really hot down there. Really
Very
hot.
hot. Yeah, very hot. And
Mm.
not a lot of rain. We had one.
No.
Well, depends on where you're at, I would say at this point. But south of us, yeah, no problem. But it's been hard and hard, and we got Saharan dust blowing through.
Mm.
I love all these things that happen in the summertime. We talk about it like it's just like no big deal. Saharan dust, this low pressure system, that. But it's true that Saharan dust comes and it just sucks all the moisture out of the air.
Yep, sure does. So looking forward to my trip down there in 10 days. You can turn down the heat a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would definitely.
I'm going to
do that.
experience actually mid and high 90s up here the next couple of days.
No, I mean,
in
and I'll
the
tell you
Boston
that
area.
some of the games I watched, with soccer, some of that humidity was ramped up. It was, it's the Miami game was at 99 with 90% humidity, but
Well,
nonetheless,
it's Miami.
yeah,
They
that's-
talk
that's
about
to
it being
be expected. Yeah,
they talk about it being humid up here, and I laugh. I literally laugh. Seriously,
it's
you
a
guys
whole
don't
different ball-
know humid.
It's a whole different ball game.
Come on down to Florida. We'll show you what humid
Yep.
really is. All right. Speaking of the heat being turned up, nice segue. Apparently, the heat on Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel is flammable. It appears that he could be on his way out. There were reports yesterday, and there was one person on Twitter, or actually X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, that said it was official, but officials from the school were reached out by numerous outlets, and they had no comment at all, basically saying that we're meeting Thursday to discuss the results of an investigation that's been ongoing since December, when then football coach Sharon Moore was fired for having an inappropriate relationship with his staffer, who, by the way, is suing the school.
Right.
And the investigation was put on by the school and is being paid by the school, and the bill at the moment is $11 million. John, in realization, do you think they're going to do all this and then just go, well, yeah, everything's okay?
No, but
I think Ward Manuel's out of a job. Period. End of story.
What I think is there's got to be somebody who's going to take the body blow. Okay, and that's your department. You should know better. Look, the relationship going on with the coach and the assistant. What years? 2 years it was going on this relationship. How
Allegedly,
right? How in such a small environment that nobody was aware of this or got any inkling of it?
Dude, everybody knew. Everybody knew. Anybody at Michigan knew this was going on.
That's the point. So you have all this going on. Look, I'll say this. I definitely think that the AD needs to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
But this football problem really started with Jim Harbaugh. Okay. And man, it bugs me that his alma mater and he hauls ass as fast as he could, got a job, whatever else it was, but he hauled ass. He asked for, from the minute he was there, he was trying to tweak a rule here and do this, something there. He created this environment, this culture of, yeah, let's try to do, we're trying to win. And he tried to play this little sort of
at all costs
game of him at all costs. Right. And everybody jumps on board. And then he starts to smell this thing before anybody else, because a real con artist does know when to get out before the other guy comes behind, take the hit, and he runs. He runs. Right. Mm-hmm. They run. They're of the same ilk. Okay. They're the same guy. And I'll mention another name, or maybe I won't mention the name, but a coach that my team was looking at seemed to jump off the ship at over and over and over again.
Wouldn't you say he jumped off the train?
Correct. It's exactly right. But I'm not trying to be, but I'm just saying this is what you buy into. This is what you get. I know about it. I had a 5-year run with a guy who won 2 national championships, had a little heartburn and had to go. Right. And I'm trying to, there, you know what you're getting yourself into. Okay. You know where this is going to lead. If that guy leaves, who's going to pick up the pieces? Here we are. And by the way, I'm not saying that Jim Harbaugh condoned the relationship with his assistant, with a woman in the office. But the idea is that this is sort of cultural thing that goes out there. Hey, I didn't see nothing, that kind of a thing. And this is where things start to fall apart and things get a little bit messy. And Michigan fan and Michigan alumni, boy, they love to tell you how wholesome and wonderful and how they invented the wheel. They invented football. They invented everything. Now, everything emanated from Ann Arbor, according to the Michigan folk. You know what I mean?
There's only one thing that emanates from Ann Arbor.
What's that?
You can figure it out. The directions for an Ohioan is west until you smell it, north until you step in it.
Yeah. And so that's the thing that comes up is like you kind of drape yourself in this. We are the standard bearers for all that's good in college sports. And you got the situation that you're dealing with now. So yes, he will be fired. I know that your opinion of Dusty May is that Dusty May left because he didn't like what was going on in the athletic department.
Now, hold on. Now, I'm going to stop you right there. Okay. If you remember, and you might not, because I don't think any of us watched the parade, but Ward Manuel said that Dusty May they were agreeing on a long-term extension because, this is going to be a long-term thing and this and that. And he's in Dallas.
Right. So my point is that somewhere along the line, somebody was handing out some of that stuff that you were stepping in, and I guess that, so Jim Harbaugh left, Dusty May left, there's
gymnastics coach left.
Who's left, right? And why are they leaving? Because the culture's been created. And again, by the way, just so everybody knows, I'm not blaming everything on Jim Harbaugh by no means, but you see that football drives the bus, so to speak. There it goes. And if that culture is put in place there, then how much longer does it trickle before it trickles someplace else? Again, an AD could stop something like that, but was Jim Harbaugh able? Could you have stopped Jim Harbaugh? Could you have said pump the brakes? No, because probably if you did do it, he would have left earlier because he wasn't going to do it unless he took that job, alumni or not, because he wanted it his way.
Right.
And that's what he wanted. And by the way, he went to San Diego, and because they offered it, he can do it his way. He likes being in charge. He likes being he's probably get his foot on his finger on every free agent they pick up or draft pick that's being picked. He's probably got a heavy hand on all that stuff. So this is what's left behind. You left your alma mater and pretty much in a shambly state. You're gonna have no AD, no basketball coach, and a football coach who's why he's there. I still don't know. I don't know why he took that job. It seemed like there's probably been better opportunities, 10 times better opportunities than that. But again, who knows what he was guaranteed or whatever was going on. But at least you have that to lean yourself on. But it's going to be a tough road for a couple of years.
You would think. But
Right.
I mean, if they hire an AD that's of the Ward Manuel tree, everything could just continue. I mean, you could have another Connor Stallions, which, by the way, is when I thought the water with Jim Harbaugh totally stunk when he claimed to not know anything about that. That was the end. That was the end for me. Really? Come on, Jim.
It's funny that we can point out multiple things with Jim Harbaugh. It's not one thing. There's multiple things going on, and it's this idea. Well, you got to, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And, is it really cheating, or we're just bending a rule, or what's the difference? Or I plead the fifth. I don't know whatever you do to kind of get out of that situation. But there's no way that's going on without his knowledge. There's no way. There's no way.
Well,
although
he knows. Go ahead.
Bobby Bowden famously said that, I don't want to know. If you keep me ignorant of the facts, then I can't say that I know about it.
But that makes him complicit too. And I'm a Florida State fan. That's garbage.
Right. Again, but again, that's you. If you're the guy in charge, you're always going to be the first one to take the fall. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
So
and you should. It's your ship.
Right.
It's your ship, and that's why I think Ward. This is going to be interesting though how they do this, because. And everybody's kind of been on social media, Ward Manuel knows where all the bodies are buried. So well, no, John, do you keep him quiet by paying the rest that they owe him, which is a little more than $7 million? He signed an extension in 2024, or do you fire him with cause and let him sling all his arrows? I mean, that's going to be an interesting decision once it comes down to it.
If I'm emptying the tank, so to speak, and getting rid of everybody out of there, I'll pay him and get him the hell out of there. They're going to go push him out the door. It's money spent. I think at some point you got to just go for it. Now, somebody said that's frivolous and you're spending a lot of money, but look at what you're spending on athletes now.
Yes, that's very true.
Yep. Get it over with and just be done with it. I think that's the smart thing to do.
And I don't think this is going to take long, because all the information will be there. The firm that they hired, I think, has just about completed the investigation, and at this point, I think it's I'm very interested to see how this goes. Gives us more stuff to talk about in this dead period here in July.
Right.
I'll tell you that.
But it's better to do it quicker. Don't do it during the season. That's a big problem. We do it during the season. Get it over with when it's 4 or 5 weeks before you're even getting August 1st. You got guys going back into camp or whatever else it is. Get it over with. Be done with it all.
John, that's 2.5 weeks away.
Very close.
So they really need to move on this.
Yeah,
they really do.
I
agree 1,000%. All right. Major League Baseball's made it to the All-Star break. The Rays finished their latest homestand just 4-3, considering what their home record is. That's I mean, they split 4 games with the Yankees, winning the middle 2 and losing the bookends. And then 2 out of 3 against Seattle. Seattle came to Florida in first place in the American League West and left a game and a half behind the Rangers, because they lost all 3 in Miami to the Marlins and 2 out of 3 to the Rays. It was great to see Evan Longoria get his over the weekend. I think
Yes.
well deserved. He is a face of the franchise that you can be proud of, and he's very proud to be a Ray. It was it as a Rays fan, watching him go to Arizona sucked. Absolutely sucked. I know it was a business decision, and that's the way the Rays run things around here, and that's why they continue to be competitive. But it sucked, and I think Evans gotten just looking at him over the weekend, John. He's gotten past that. He's a Ray. He even called the first round pick on the phone, which I thought was very cool. And it was even cooler that the kid, and he's a kid, he's a high school player, knew who Evan Longoria was, because when Longoria was playing, when he started, the kid was, I don't even think he was thought of at the point.
Right.
Because
Right.
it's been that Evan's in his 40s now. So very cool. Rays did a nice job getting, as I mentioned, 2 out of 3. They've got a 3-game lead, 4 in the loss column. Over the Yankees. Yankees went to Washington and pulled 3 games right out of their rear end, trailing in the 8th inning in all 3, and they get a big hit by a different guy in each of the 3 games, something that had been missing because when they went on that long dry spell, which actually went right up to the Rays series, when they had lost, I think, 9 of 11 or 10 of 12, nobody was hitting. So at least they found some bats, and but still the Rays with a 3-game lead. You'd have to think that's, it's not best case scenario, but I think the Rays will take it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Mhm.
And by the way, up in your neck of the woods, Red Sox are hot.
Yeah, 9 in a row.
So,
9 in a row.
Everybody's jockeying for position right now. And where are we? All-star break situation. So that's going to be a nice little race to follow. I think there's a lot of nice races that are going to come up. While you've mentioned it before, tongue in cheek, that the AFC West is competitive, but competitive with each other. There's going to be some nice battles down the stretch to see who can kind of get in there and either win the pennant or to get a wild card opportunity.
Well, the buyers and sellers, there are more buyers than sellers at this point. In the American League East,
right.
you'd have to, the Red Sox, by getting themselves, they're a half game out of the wild card. And a couple of weeks ago, they were 6.5 back and dead. They were totally dead. Now there's some hope up here. And they open with a 5-game series. Yeah, 4-game series. Sorry, Friday, doubleheader, Saturday, Sunday against the Rays at Fenway this coming weekend. A lot of times the All-Star break is the ultimate either slump buster or streak stopper.
Right.
So we'll see if the Red Sox can carry it and if the Rays can do things as well, keep their lead, and if they are truly going to be buyers. I have a lot of people who are whispering in my ear, it's not going to be this year. If not this year, then when?
That's the point. That's what I keep on saying about the new ownership. Are you just the same guy in a different suit? What is it? Because I would love to see them in a situation where they say, no, we're not going to just ride it out and see what happens. We're going to bring, and again, we can talk this point as we get closer, but where's the one time you go buy a big bat from somebody? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It always seems like the Rays when they get in a slump or whatever, it always seems like they don't have a guy who can hit their way out of it. You know what I mean? So maybe they do it. Who knows? They should have a lot of minor league collateral. You know what I'm saying? They've got they've always got young guys down there. Man, make a run at it. It's you've danced around it. You've been in the series. How about let's put one on the board. Let's do it. The Marlins did it twice. Okay. Mm-hmm. Is the Marlins organization or better than the Rays? Well, you can say yes or no, depending on what's important to you. Do you want a longevity of better than mediocre baseball like the Rays, or do you want to have 2 banners hanging? What do you want in that situation? So it's like, they've done it a different way, and it's everybody. This going for a championship is something I think that the new ownership would do. But I would take a run at it myself.
Yeah, it's be interesting to see what the Marlins do. They're only 4 games out in the National League East.
Right.
They have played, and they got swept by Cleveland at home. they were really on a heater. I think they were 26-8 in their last 34 before that sweep, but they're still in great position. They have the last wild card. Currently, they are the sixth and final wild card in the National League. So both teams in the state of Florida, can make some moves, but will they? That's the big, big question.
What if the Rays weren't the Tampa Bay Rays? What if they were the Portland Rays?
Mm.
Okay. And they're playing in the American League West
Mm-hmm.
every year. Where would they be right now?
That's a great question because according to the standings, they'd be probably 10 or 11 up.
Okay. And over all the years that they've had to battle through playing the two big money teams, or two of the biggest money teams. And then you follow that up with Toronto, who is not afraid to spend money where they need to, right? You're always facing a guy who is willing to buy a whole new pitching staff in August. So when are you taking a chance on just getting one guy every once in a while? You know what I mean? Baseball fans in Tampa, it might go a long way to putting that ownership group into a little bit better light. And then, of course, if everything works out for the stadium situation, the way they've got to put together, God, you'd be a hero to this fan base, and maybe you'd have a fan base that was more than 5,000 people a game. It's 30,000 Yankee fans and 30,000 Red Sox fans. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we'll see. It's an interesting question.
So the Rays 3 up in the AL East. The AL Central is a virtual tie between the White Sox and the Guardians, both teams sweeping over the weekend. The Twins are 3 back, and they got off to a dreadful start. So good on them for getting back in the race. Tigers, we kind of talked about them last week. They had a very mediocre week. So they are probably still in a cellar position in the Central. And in the West, there's only one team above 500 right now, and that's your Texas Rangers, who are a game and a half up on Seattle, who's a game under 500. And Houston, who also got off to a dreadful start at the beginning of the year and is just 3 games out, even though they are several games under 500. National League, again, the Braves have a 2-game lead over the Phillies, 4 over the Marlins. In the East, the Nationals fallen off a little bit, and the Mets are an absolute grease fire. Unbelievable. They're the antithesis, he tried to say, of the Rays. They spend, and they suck.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Growing up Mets Jets fan, that Long Island Queens sort of geography thing you do there. They're not much different than each other. They really aren't. Yeah. You know what I mean? It just seems like the minute they do something, they get a little snake bit. Now, the Mets did win a series in 86.
Yes. 86.
But,
John, that's 40 years ago. 40.
Yeah, I know. And so you look at it and you say, okay, but they just seem to be, like, I don't know. Again, perceptions are everything in this situation, but the Mets look like just a pieced together team, they look
like the Bad News Bears, man.
Right. But you put a puzzle together and you say, well, this piece looks like it should go there. So you jam it in and put some tape on it, and then the puzzle piece is in place.
That's an excellent analogy, by the way.
And the Yankees always seem to be like, whoever they bring in, like, the guy looks good in the uniform. Oh, by the way, they always get a left-handed power hitter, of course, because there's only 290 down the line and in Yankee Stadium. Right. And so they're setting their team up around their stadium. I thought the biggest mistake that the Mets have made over the last 15 years is building that giant freaking stadium that they have.
That they had to bring the fences in. Yeah.
Right. There was nothing to it. It was like, where's center field? Oh, it's 505 in the center. I'm like, what do you mean? It's stupid. It's stupid.
A little bit of an exaggeration, but it was hard. It's hard, especially in the April and September. Ball does not travel at all. You hit a home run there, it should count for 2.
To me, that stadium is the little brother to MetLife Stadium over in New Jersey. They're the same thing. It's like there's no to them. They're just like a big round circle or a big oval. there's nothing to those places.
Right.
You're not going there because it's some great ballpark to go to. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they have the best hot dogs. I don't know. Maybe they have whatever else it is. But as far as aesthetically and how it's put together, it was like, great. It's new.
Right.
Is it really that nice? No, it isn't.
No. All right, quickly, the Brewers got swept over the weekend by the Pirates. Paul Skeens won. He actually won. Got 14 runs of support.
I wonder
They
if he went
actually
out and had a slump. I wonder if he went out and had a slump buster.
Yeah, I guess. Olivia. Anyway, Brewers
No,
lead is
he was out that night.
Brewers lead down to 5 over the Cubs. Still very comfortable lead for Milwaukee in the West. You can put it in the books. Dodgers got swept over the weekend by Arizona, which in itself is amazing. And yet they still have the best record in baseball. I believe it's 63-36. And their lead in the NL West is 11.5 over Arizona. Let's just put them in. Just put them in.
Done. It's done.
Yeah. By the way, home run derby tonight. Junior Caminero, one of the favorites. He's the second choice to Kyle Schwarber, who's got a home game for himself in Philadelphia. Bryce Harper also part of the home run derby. By the way, do you know where you can watch it?
MLB Network.
No, sir. Netflix.
Is that where it is?
Netflix. I'm not kidding you. The home run derby is on Netflix. Baseball is literally killing them. They've got 5 toes and 8 bullets in the chamber.
Yeah.
They're just shooting themselves in the foot. Really? Netflix? This is not football. Everybody's not going to flock to Netflix to watch this. No. It's already been waning. It's already been waning in support. A lot of people look at it very similarly to the slam dunk contest in basketball. You know, used to be great. Used to have guys like McGuire and Sosa, 98. What a great Ken Griffey Jr. Watch him pop home runs all over the place. And, you know, I'll watch because it's Junior and because I have Netflix. But if I didn't have Netflix, I'm not going to a sports bar.
No.
I'm not ordering Netflix for a month. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I just, you know, it would just, I'll watch the highlights.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And by the way, I think that the two guys that are the favorites have some similarity to the way they swing the bat. Mm-hmm. You know, they can hit just about anything out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
Something low, they barrel everything up really well. So I think with the format, with the time on it and everything else, I think they will do well. I think for the format but again, there's always that fear of what happens to your swing when you try to hit 100 home runs in 30 minutes. You know, it's a lot to be doing at that point.
Well, in Junior Caminero's defense, he finished second last year and did not fall off in the second half. Good on him.
I think
happened 2 years in a row.
Because he does swing a little bit. He's not a little wild with his swing. So maybe it is an advantage to him in both those cases.
All right. 941 Sports Zone, episode number 47. Presented by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida, locally owned, nationally backed.
I put 48. I put 47. I put 8 fingers up for the 7.
Oh, that nice. 941-251-4257 is the number. 941-251-4257. You're kind of tired. Didn't you play in a 3-day golf tournament?
I did, with a bad shoulder.
Really?
My partner said on after my Wednesday round, that's the worst I've ever seen you play. And I'm like,
and you're like, thanks a lot, buddy.
I'm having all these old man issues.
Dude, we're 60. We're 60.
Back,
it happens.
And the shoulder is, I can swing the club, but with a club head speed of about 7 miles per hour. The ball's not flying off at all.
You mean if we played, I'd have a chance?
Yes. And it's a lot of stress on my game because I'll give you an example. Like, you know, when you play around the golf like that, you know, you're trying to do your best. You're taking chances because you're trying to get birdies and whatnot on the format we were playing. And my last round was 9 bogeys and 9 holes, just right across the board. And, you know, because I can't get the ball to where I want it to go, I'm chipping up and I'm looking for a par, that kind of stuff. So it's been a little difficult. But I will say this: I will take a long break, maybe 2 weeks off after this last run, and this weekend, nothing better to wake up in the morning and watch the Open Championship. I think it's fantastic. Everything about it, it looks different. It sounds different. They clap differently. How do they make a different noise with their hands than Americans do? It's like,
well, a lot of times they're wearing gloves, John,
well, that's true,
because
but
it's cold.
like, it sounds like it's got a
It's a
different
golf clap.
sound, right?
They
But
know
it's
how to
true
golf clap.
right?
Yeah.
They know how to do it, and they kind of give you when you hit a good shot, hooray! It's like one of
That's
those,
right.
It's not a scream. It's
And it
very
doesn't
good.
matter where you're from,
I will. The one thing
unlike
I
on Long Island. Anyway, go ahead.
exactly. The one thing I miss about Phil Mickelson is listening to him on the first tee in the British Open and have their first guy come up and say, "From the United States, Phil Mickelson." I wait for it every year. Like, there it
Yes.
is, the Phil Mickelson guy, but he's not there. He's doing whatever he's doing in Arizona at this point.
Marriage counseling, I think. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's it.
A little bit out of bounds there.
He's-
Speaking of,
yeah, looking for a new club to play at too.
yes, exactly. All right, some interesting storylines going into the Open Championship. We'll start with the players. Scotty Scheffler missed a cut at the Scottish Open. First time in 4 years he's missed a cut. You know where he missed the cut the last time?
Scottish
At the Scottish Open. Yeah.
yeah.
Scottish
So-
Open.
So, question for you:
Yeah.
I thought that Scotty Scheffler's last major to get would be an Open Championship. He got it last year. Okay,
Yes, he did. hmm
He didn't make the cut this year. I know a lot of people that are going to say, "Oh, look out! Scotty got over to Saint whatever
Royal
early."
Birkdale.
Royal
Birkdale. And here's an interesting stat. Okay. And this could be one of those things. He got close to the cut line and basically said, I need a little. He's never played Royal Birkdale. So he got a couple of extra days there.
So I'd have to ask the question. That's
Yeah.
what everybody's going to say. He went over there. He's ready to go. He won one last year. He wants to go back to back. It would
Yep.
be a huge, another giant feather in his cap.
Mhm.
Comes away with 2 majors. And just he's the guy. That's what I think. I think the betting money is going to be Scotty sandbagged it a little bit when he realized he could go over and play a round or two. And here we go. And he's going to be the betting favorite. I just think people are going to jump all over Scotty this week.
Well, they always do. And it's interesting because he won his first tournament this year. He's played 13 in a row without winning, although he's had plenty of top 5s and top 10s and top 20s.
Right.
And the money is still flowing into the bank account. But, and this is, for all intents and purposes, the last real tournament. We talked about this, the fact that after Hartford, there were no more signature events.
Right.
And then this is it. And then we're going to have this FedEx playoff. Yippee. So this is it. And here's another thing that I think plays into his hands and to the hands of most of the players that play over here. Have you seen the weather forecast?
Is it going to be nice?
Sunny and hot all 4 days.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, their idea of hot and our idea of hot are completely different.
Yeah, but
they're talking.
it'll make that course will be so dry. It'll be like a runway in an airport. It'll be super, super dry. So that'll give guys with creative minds a little bit of advantage.
A little bit. I think, and again, I was listening to another show and they were talking about how they love the Open because of the rain and the elements being a factor. It really looks like they may go 4 days without any of that. High 70s, low 80s, hardly any wind to speak of. The last time there was a Open Championship that went like that, wasn't the winning score north of 20 under par?
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah.
Because, again, like you said, as long as you know how to play the ball running up to the green, because, again, a lot of times the course is going to be drives, so you take a club less and you let the ball just, roll right up to the green. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think I've told you the story when I went to play golf in Ireland a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Last hole of the week, I was a par 5. I was 320 yards out. And we looked at the caddy and he said, what are you thinking? I said, oh, I'm just going to knock a little 7-iron down there and get in position. He's like, oh, that's great. Great idea. Just get it rolling down the fairway. Wind behind me. 320. I went over the back of the green.
That's great.
Goes out to the shot. I'm like,
with a 7-iron. I would have retired if I hit a 7-iron 320.
Goes, yeah, for sure. It's kind of downhill and it's dry and it's windy. And I'm like, damn, so you can, you get get something going down the fairway and I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was going to be, maybe I get 180 out of it because it's downwind, not that much, but it was funny. And that can happen. And so I think Scotty's got the mentality of that kind of a game. Again, I thought it would be a hard one for him to win. Won it last year. He can go back to back would be, again, a major deal. Rory, you know what, Rich? Rory looks like somebody woke him up at some of these tournaments and said, you got to play today, Rory. It's like, all right, I'll go play. He doesn't look like it looked like this year's Masters took a lot out of him again. Okay?
Not having fun. Would that be accurate? Not having fun.
And I think the live thing is like, because like when if you had a tough stretch of time where your work was hard and you had a lot of things going on in your house or whatever it may be, and then when it's over, you're like, you know what I want to go do? I want to go close the door and go hide in the closet for a couple of. He missed 2 or 3 signature events this year.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't look like a guy who's looking to run out to win a FedEx Cup or a guy to do whatever it may be. It looks like a guy who's like, I'm going to be there for the majors. I'm going to give it a good go. But he doesn't look desperate to win anything at this point. He knows he's never going to catch Tiger or Jack or any of those guys from majors. I think Rory's got potentially 3 more majors in him, based on his play.
Is his magic number, John, 10?
10. Yeah, I think 10 would be his number, but I still think he's got 3 in him. And I think this tournament does bring a little bit out of him, but he looked yesterday on the course. I'm like, looks like he like the cat licked his face and licked half his whiskers off his face. It's like, he didn't look like he was prepared. He just looked disheveled. And he looked like even his body language, what he shoots 64 on Saturday. And,
yes.
And his girlfriend, Amanda Balionis, were talking back and forth after the match.
Girlfriend.
And she said, he said, what did you say to yourself? He said, Rory, you're the worst. That's the worst shot ever. You're the worst player ever. But I mean, you say that to yourself when you're feeling down, not now, that's like, I don't want to do this kind of thing. So we'll see. I think he'll try pretty well, but I wouldn't put my money on Rory this week. Just in casual conversation, however, I did mention, I thought that all the guys that were playing yesterday, late in the day, not the winner, the eventual winner in that situation.
Tommy Kim.
Right. But Matt Fitzpatrick, Bobby McIntyre, Goddard, all those guys that were kind of around the lead who did not win it. Man, those are the guys you might want to look at. Tommy Fleetwood. I think there's another chance.
Well, isn't this his home course?
I believe so. I mean, Tommy Fleetwood is the guy who everybody seems to, wants to will him to win more majors,
mm-hmm.
or a major, I should say. But the thing is that's the thing is that he's that guy. I think that could do something. And he always, I thought that over the years, my sneaky guy for years to pick in the Open was Louis Oosthuizen, because he had that game for it. Kind of like the format, and then he got sucked up by the live vacuum that made him into a nondescript player anymore. Nobody even remembers the guy anymore. So yeah, we'll see. But I think Scotty's going to be a betting favorite. I think Rory doesn't have the energy for it. But all the guys, I'll throw Shane Lowry in the group. He always plays well.
And they love him over there. Holy cow!
Absolutely. So Lowry, Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood. I'm missing whoever, but again, all those guys. McIntyre, Robert McIntyre.
Yeah.
Take a look at him, guys. I think they're going to be. There may be a contingency of English and Irish and Scottish guys up at the top.
Well, if Fitzpatrick wins, or if Fleetwood wins. That'll be the first win for England in forever
What?
at
Nick
the Open.
Faldo
Was it
or
that far?
Justin Rose? Didn't
I think-
Justin Rose never won
No,
one.
no,
US
it's
Open. He won
Faldo. I believe it's
Yeah.
Faldo. I
He won a
believe it's
PGA.
Sir Nick.
It is.
Uh,
I think it is.
I'm gonna look. I've picked him every time. He teases me like the girl in junior high that
Yeah.
sat in front of me in homeroom. We get almost there, and then Saturday and Sunday he just plays meh, and that's Matt Fitzpatrick. Because I was sitting down thinking about this, and I'm going, who do I pick? Fleetwood. I started thinking about everybody. I'm like, it would just be like Matt Fitzpatrick. I don't pick him and he wins, and I picked him in every other major.
Yeah, that's me and Xander Schauffele and a couple other
Yeah.
guys.
Mhm.
That always happens.
He
But I
missed
will
the
say
cut
this-
too, by the way.
Yeah.
He missed the cut
Yeah.
too in Scotland.
But he's another guy. I would believe would sandbag and go over to play some rounds of Royal Birkdale. I would believe that for sure.
Well, him and Scotty are doing a few loops.
Yeah, yeah. So, but you said Matt Fitzpatrick. Look, yesterday he had a little fire to him. Yeah, when he won in South Carolina, on the coast there, he won. They were USA and the shit out of him and everything else, right? And he sort of smiled it off, and I'm good and I'm happy. But he was mad yesterday. He was mad. I think he's feeling his game is good, and this is his opportunity to make the hometown.
Well, how many
crowd
times is
proud.
he going to get to the door and then just not kick it in? That's
Well,
this year. Every major.
I said that about him, and then he went out and won a U.S. Open.
Right.
And I'm like, at Brookline, I said, okay, you know what? You do have it in you. And I will say this, his driving distance has gotten better and better and better over the years. He was much more of a sort of control player, 285 off the tee. Now he went for distance and he didn't lose much accuracy. That's a pretty big deal. So I wouldn't be shy with him. I got a group that we do a little, you get 4
Fantasy
choices.
golf. Yep.
Yeah. Fantasy golf that we get 4 choices. They put 4 guys, you pick one of the 4 in the 4 groups and then 2 wild cards. He's in the top flight of that group. It's like, I think where they got him put is Scotty, Rory, what's his name? Cam Young. And
we didn't even mention him. Yeah.
And Matt Fitzpatrick. So he hasn't been in that rarefied air in this group that I play in.
Upper echelon.
So he might be the guy this year. We'll have to see.
So who are you taking? Come on, I put myself out there. Your turn.
I'm gonna go. I know it's gonna sound weird. I like Bob McIntyre.
Okay, that's not weird. He's playing well. He's playing very well.
Again, and him too. If you read lips, which is not hard to read, one word in particular is easy to read when you say
And all others, yes.
Yeah. Ends with a CK. But
yes,
they were dropping a lot of those F bombs, and they were into it. There was no let up. They were really getting into that round of golf. I think that kind of intensity leading into this is priceless. I think it's a good thing. I'm really looking forward to it. There'll be a surprise. Some obscure guy will lead the first round. They always do. Always seems to be the case. But I think those guys are going to be right there, 1, 2, 4, 3 shots off the lead, and just be on the prowl. We'll see what happens on Saturday, but I'll go Bob McIntyre on this one.
Well, I love FanDuel has this thing. Okay, if your guy leads after round 1, you're paid. You're paid as if he won the tournament.
That's good.
So I'm looking for Mr. Fitzpatrick to do what he's been doing every major. Yeah. Get to the top of the leaderboard, and I don't have to worry about the other 3 rounds.
5, yeah. Go out and shoot 65.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if 65 is going to do it if the conditions are going to be as benign as they say.
You're probably right. It won't, and then they'll make some adjustments on the course. Is what they'll do. They'll have some weird.
What can you adjust? Oh, okay.
Well, the flag on the greens they can adjust. They can make it a little wetter if they sprinkle it or something like that. You never know. But I will say this: it's one of the few courses that and kudos to Shinnecock for doing it. They move the tee box way up. I mean, super duper up, and then super duper way back the next day. It's like two entirely different holes. Brings
Right.
bunkers into play, and I think that's what they can do there to make that golf course different. And by the way, I complain about it at my golf course. I'm always like, they leave. It's always, you're playing the 5s or the 6s or whatever it is. I'm like, they're always in the same spot. Move them back, move them way up. Give everybody a different look at a hole every once in a while. But it's easier to put them in the same spot within 6 inches of each other. So you have 1,000 ball marks on the on the par 3s. I'm like, you're in a spot I can stand without it being a big pile of dirt there. So yeah, it's
right.
I love when they can move those tee boxes back and forth like that.
All right, a couple more things before we get into our locks of the week and what's bugging us. Wimbledon is done for another year. The men's final was a pretty darn good one. Jannik Sinner, the top seed, and the second seed, Alexander Zverev, both won their ways into the final in straight sets. Sinner dispatched of Novak Djokovic, who seems, I guess the semifinals is about his plateau anymore. Of course, that's a great plateau at age 39. Yeah. Keep cashing the checks, baby.
Yeah.
So he's playing all the way to the end. And of course, Zverev beat that qualifier who grew up a mile from Wimbledon and got all the way to the semifinals on the men's side. They played, the first 2 sets were epic. The first tiebreaker, I don't know if I've ever seen this. Sinner ended up losing. Actually, Zverev won 9-7. They did not have a mini break of serve, meaning Sinner served, he got his point.
Right.
Zverev 2, Sinner 2, back and forth until the final point where Sinner missed a shot, and Zverev won 9-7. Second set, again, very contentious tiebreaker. Well, it was contentious up till the tiebreaker. Sinner kind of won that pretty easily and kind of took that momentum. He ended up winning the third set. He got an early break in the third set and also broke in the fourth set and ended up winning in 4 sets. I took my hat to him because we talked about this 2 Mondays ago when he nearly was dispatched by some nobody. He was down 2-1 after losing the French early because of not being fit. And he obviously benefited from the weather. It was never really too hot on the days he played in England. And he seemed to be in much better shape down the stretch and seemed to be the fresher guy at the end of the tournament yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say this about my first thing I was going to say about it was apologies to Sinner. I said, looks like he's not ready to play. Looked like he cashed it in. I thought he'd be out before the quarterfinals.
Me too.
So, hey, you know what? You gathered yourself. It's you got to be very athletic to win at Wimbledon, and he's a good athlete. You can see that there's no doubt about it. He's at the top of his game right now. I watched the wrap up talk with the 2 McEnroe brothers, and they said, "This is great. We want Alvarez back. He needs a foil."
Yes,
that 1-2 match. They said that's what he needs, and I said I can understand that. So they're all rooting for a recovery for the U.S. Open so that they can see that matchup potentially in the finals, because John McEnroe knows that he's not John McEnroe without Bjorn Borg. You know what I mean? He's not that guy.
Or Jimmy Connors.
Yep. Right. And they're tennis fans, and tennis lovers, and they want the game to flourish. And it's not going to flourish when you've got sort of indescript champions that people don't follow around the world very much, and they don't have a guy that they're losing to or having these epic matches with. So I can understand that, because tennis needs a little help right now, especially I think Wimbledon always piques everybody's interest. I think the French Open tends to be a big dud most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Australian Open, people are like, "What? It's hot in Australia? I didn't know that." Oh, there we go.
It's January, dead in the middle of the night.
But the U.S. Open, everybody is starting to get their sports on again. You got baseball, you got NFL, you got college football. And even though it sounds like tennis would get gobbled up, no, that fever to watch sports is any good is there. I've always, listen, for as long as I've been alive that I can remember, I know January 1st is the beginning of the year, but not in the calendar in my head. The beginning of the year is September 1st in my head.
Yep.
Because that's when football season started.
I was just going to say, that's a football fan right there.
That's what it was. Because even if I had put in my mind the calendar, the January's in the middle of the calendar. If I was in a circle, it would be the middle of it. You know what I mean? It's just weird how it works. But and tennis is has that opportunity with that weather being at the right time and fierce matches, 180-mile-an-hour serves and that kind of thing. So good opportunity, and hopefully those two guys can duke it out sometime during that tournament.
Well, Alcaraz is coming back from a wrist injury. That's the absolute worst injury you can have as a tennis player. Your dominant wrist. So hopefully, he's been out for quite a while now. He's missed the last two majors. He played in Australia. Yeah, right. But it's been a while. So he's got a couple of months to get it together. Actually, not even a month and a half, as the U.S. Open will start in late August. Ladies' side, there was complete chaos. We talked about it last Monday when we came on. All the top seeds were getting knocked off. It turned out to be an all-Czech final.
Czechoslovakian.
Yep.
Two Czechoslovakians. Yep.
Karolina Muchova and Linda Moskova. And the match was over in 3 sets. But Linda Moskova ended up winning the tournament. Go ahead.
I really enjoyed the fact that after it was over, how they spoke of each other.
Yes, great friends.
We used to be great friends, and this and that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were joking around. Yeah.
But to hear them talk like a team, how they felt about each other, that was genuine, and so it was a nice way to see two people be able to enjoy each other's successes and enjoy a good competitive match. It was a really nice ending to the women's championship.
14th consecutive different winner on the ladies' side. That's hard to believe.
Well, it's because Serena tried to come back. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But that's, you don't have a dominant player. You really don't.
Well, you do. But grass is not her surface, and that's
you're
the
right.
thing.
So it's the grass, right?
Sabalenka. Yep.
Yeah.
Sabalenka. Yep. No question about it. All right. We would kind of get together on the day of the podcast, and I put together the rundown and said, do I miss anything? And you kind of snarked back, oh, no football for the last time for a while. And then I remembered the news that came out late Saturday, and I'm like, what do you mean no football? I got to add this. So the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, well, that's really weird to say, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? There's somebody the other day said, who won the Super Bowl again? I'm like, I don't know. And that took me 30 seconds to get my head around it. I'm like,
right.
Seattle.
So the defending champion Seahawks were sold to a group headed by 49ers limited partner. And I looked up the phonetic spelling of this. Vinod Kolosa, I guess. I don't know. Anyway.
I'm looking at it myself, and I'm not quite sure. Yeah.
Yeah. For reported $9.6 billion. 9.6. The Seahawks. Then I was like, wow. There was a report that came out last year in Forbes and said the most expensive or the highest price franchise in the NFL was the Cowboys, and I think they were in the like 10.7 billion area. What do you think, Jerry? What do you think, Jerry Jones? He sees this and he's going to vote. He's going to vote on this apparently in late August, along with all the other owners, and he's going to have one big ass smile on his face because the Cowboys.
If you're Jerry Jones, I know you got a salary cap to work with, but my God, he just made $5 billion after that deal. He'll be like, we need to win a championship. I can't stop making money. I gotta win something here soon.
Yep. All right. The owners must approve the transaction. Apparently they've got a meeting in late August, right before the season starts. I don't think it's going to have any, everybody that reported on this seems to think it'll just go through. Obviously, the minority owner of the 49ers must give up his minority share because the NFL doesn't want you, especially two teams in the same division. I find that rather intriguing in itself. But he'll be the majority owner.
You don't want to have any conflict of interest like Tom Brady
does. Your Brady love coming out there.
I mean, it's like everything that comes around. He can't not be in the middle of something. He loves watching himself on TV. I'm pretty sure. So it's
been a couple of weeks since you said anything derogatory about Josh Allen.
There's no reason to. It's going to be. They're going to have a bad year.
Oh, really?
No,
New stadium, bad year.
When fantasy football comes around and he's one of the top 3 players or the top 2 players to go in the draft, because it'll be 2 running backs and then him or whatever it's going to be, then I'll go ahead and say, yeah, well, he'll get you fantasy points, but he's not going to win anything. And quite frankly, I talked to a guy yesterday and he's like, when does he get hurt? Because it's inevitable. The style he plays, when does he get hurt? And he's a Josh Allen fan. He knows I'm not. I'm like, I'm not rooting for injury. I'm not. I said, but I just think that there's something to the idea that you can't be the de facto running back / whatever and think that you're not going to fall to pieces at some point in time.
He's a big dude. Big corn Fred.
Really good athlete.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll tell you the truth. Probably didn't take a beating in college either. You know what I mean? Like he was playing at Wyoming, and I'm sure he took some, but I don't think he got beat up. So he's probably a little healthier than maybe some other guys that came out as first rounders.
All right, time for locks of the week. I'm back down to my low point now, 3 games behind you after Morocco. I've had some pretty bad picks. Listen, and my record's still very respectable, 23-18.
It is.
But as picks go, you talk about no chance. 15 minutes in, I'm like, unless an earthquake comes to the stadium or Mbappe gets hurt. And by the way, he missed a penalty too.
Right.
Could have been a lot worse.
No,
okay.
Right,
It could have been 1-0 right out of the gate. And I say he missed it because it got saved and it looked like I don't want to call it relative easy save because I would have never saved it, but it looked like a relatively benign, easy save. Of course, he made up for that later scoring the goal. So Morocco wins, I lose. You have Switzerland. I kind of poo-pooed your pick, and my God, if they didn't win in pens, and really played very well against Argentina. The Swiss,
they're good. Did
very well for themselves. Swiss, Norway, I thought really made a great account of themselves. There's a lot of teams that come out of this World Cup, not just the complete upstarts like Cape Verde, but I mean, I could see, especially if Erling Haaland is around, Norway's going to be a force for quite a while.
The energy behind the team can carry over for a good 4 years.
Oh, yeah. They'll be rowing the boat every night for the next 4 years.
No, it was fantastic.
Times Square. That was awesome. Yeah. I am telling you. I've been in Times Square. I've been in Times Square for the ball drop. I used to work at the Marquee and have to go to work through all that stuff. I can't imagine. I was trying to put my head around it, watching it happen, and I just was like, wow.
It's amazing. It really is. That what this, and this will be the big win. And ultimately, we talked about FIFA, we talked about some of the things, but the show that they put on in the stadiums in the United States, these massive football stadiums that are meant for spectators, to be right there. Man, you're in Kansas City and it looked like you were in Argentina. Okay. Yep. That was cool. And and they did a quick flash to Patrick Mahomes, not the whole game, the whole match. There he is.
You mean not like Taylor Swift?
Yeah, exactly. This is his house right there, Patrick's house. He's here to watch. The recognition of that, and to watch these stadiums get packed out, to watch the again, I understand that a good portion of the fans are traveling here, but a lot of them are Argentinian descent. They're coming to see their team in the United States.
Yep.
Do you get that in Australia? No. Do you get that in Africa if you're going to play there? No. Whatever. I'm just naming off places where you have it. You get it in a place like the United States because you do have people who move here and live here.
It's a melting pot. Yeah.
So if they go 40-64 in this thing, I don't know how they're not going to have it in the U.S. every other year.
Right.
They'll find or if you're going to play, just play in Europe. You know what I mean? Not one country, maybe 5 countries. Who knows? And I know they got a lot of stadiums in England, but you can't pack all the people into that small of an area. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you got to spread them out.
And those are not huge stadiums either. They're not like our stadiums.
You have to be able to have the infrastructure, the airports, the hotels, the accommodations, everything else, right? So is that there? I don't know. I really don't know. So we'll see. But no, it was really cool. They've done a good job.
So you're 26-15. I'm 23-18. Season largest 3-game lead spread. What do you got?
England over Argentina.
Oh, we are definitely opposed to each other then, because I have Argentina over
Okay.
England. There you go.
Good. There it is.
Boom.
And I'll give you
I'm
my
coming
reason.
down. We can actually
Yeah.
wait a minute. Do I have my wallet's out there? I was gonna pull out a crispy dollar bill.
We can have
Like
we
in
can have a
like in
dollar.
movie Trading Places.
Yeah.
Mortimer,
exactly.
the usual bet, $1.
So I think England will win because I think they're the more solid team. Okay. If they go up, if they score first,
Mhm.
okay, and I know that sounds like that falls right into Argentina's plan is to go down 1 and then come score 3 in extra time. I just like the English team right now. I would be hard for me to say that they would come out a winner if France beats Spain. But if Spain beats France and it's England versus Spain, I would almost like England in that one too. So I'm going to go England over Argentina, and you're going the opposite.
I am. I'm going Argentina over England. And John, don't worry, you'll get your wish. It'll be England and Spain. That'll be the 3rd place game on Saturday.
There you go. And I'm sure they'll have everybody on the field playing the game, right? They'll be like,
exactly.
Who's that guy?
Right. All right. So there you go. All right. Final segment, time for what's bugging me. And I've already told you this.
Yeah.
This VAR, they got to get some sort of grip on this. You can't be calling fouls 200 feet away from the other goal. I don't get it. If it's not called on the field, then it's got to be let alone. I don't know. I all my soccer fans and my kids' friends and all. Well, you're just trying to Americanize it. Well, where am I from? Okay. Again, could you imagine 2 minutes to go in the game? It's the NFC Championship game, and it's a long pass down the left sideline. It's incomplete. No flags. It's going to be second. Wait a minute. New York's on. Hold on. New York. Replay. Hang on. They're holding up the game. Go to a free commercial spot here. Go to a commercial because New York's got to talk. Holy cow. Anyway, I'm going to keep it very short and sweet. I already said with my piece earlier, they got to get a grip on VAR. Simple. And you can't miss something like the ball hitting a guy wire.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's just, and FIFA is so controlling, so blinded by whatever it is, money, that they're still saying to this, there was no evidence that it hit the guide wire. Okay, guys. Sure. I'm done. John, you're
again. There's a lot to be said about that. There's no doubt. Again, that does to me. It has a little bit of that Olympic feel to it. That seems like they get involved with that stuff, and they become sort of their own worst enemy in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for me, I am not a UFC guy. Okay. I watch.
Yeah, we didn't even bring this up. Yeah.
I watch wrestling. I'm more about the story than I'm about the fist fight, so to speak.
Yes,
I enjoy that kind of deal.
So's my son, by the way.
Yeah, so it's bugging me a bit. The idea that everybody thought that Conor McGregor was going to come out of a 5-year hiatus and not blow his ACL out in 30 seconds. Okay. And I understand that there's UFC. These are what, every 3 or 4 weeks they have different UFC matches.
What was the number this weekend? 350 something.
Yeah, and I understand that. And listen, this is where you say about you're trying to Americanize soccer. Well, here's the guy with gray hair saying like, was that really a necessary situation? Somebody asked me yesterday, and they said, is UFC a lot like boxing? Is that, I said, and what manner do you mean? Do you mean that they are putting together bouts with guys that are too old to do it? Maybe so. Did the undercard do well enough that the main event really didn't make that much of a difference in this situation? I don't know, but it bugs me that it's sort of become standard issue to kind of roll these kind of matches out here and there. I think Dana White might be the best commissioner of any sport out there because he has grown something with his own two hands, so to speak.
Yes.
He doesn't shy away from answering questions honestly, not questions. And they say, well, then they twist it around. And so you never answer the question. He answers the question. Well, I don't know. He didn't look good to me. He was bopping around or whatever it may be. The idea, though, is that it is pay-per-view in a lot of cases. I know somebody was saying that if you have Paramount, you now get them for free. I'm not sure.
No, it's not free. You're paying for Paramount. It's still pay-per-view in my opinion.
Right. No, you're right.
You're just not forking out $60 every time it's on.
But the idea is that everything about UFC it's promotional. I get all that, but really, let's not trot out Conor McGregor anymore. He's a millionaire. He's his style. Whatever he's done, I don't think he can repeat it. They're already talking about a trilogy. Come on, let's not go down that road.
Well, here's the problem, John. He's got one more fight left in his contract. And I hate to say it, but we're going to see him one more time. The question is, who against?
Right. Well, again, I don't know either, but it was kind of a sad situation because I truly believe he hurt himself in the ring, in the octagon. He was in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He took one step and landed on one foot, and it was over. He's not going to be able to be at that high level to do what he's doing. He will be hurt again. There's no doubt about it. So let's not try it out. Let's not pretend that these guys can keep doing this stuff. It's not infinite. Their body staying in one piece. It's not the worst thing in the world to see some of these, but some matches. But this was not one that should be redone. I think let Conor McGregor go away, and let's keep promoting the UFC to all of my young friends who love UFC. They watched every one of their shows. Let those other guys win it. Let McGregor go sell Irish whiskey.
Interesting. His birthday is tomorrow. He'll be 38. He looked very old. 38.
Yeah,
very old.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And again, in boxing, Rich, you can be a guy and you can sit around and throw jabs for 10 rounds and try to hide from a guy. Not in UFC fighting. No. You can't hide. They're going to chase you all over the place. It's a street fight, so to speak. That's how it started. Back in I know you remember this back in the day. It was a choke him out, knock him out, break his arm scenario. It was not like it wasn't. This is a much tamer way of doing this stuff, but nonetheless, it's a very, very tough situation to watch a guy like McGregor sort of struggle through all this stuff.
Well, I won't be watching. I'll just watch the highlights.
Yeah.
I'm not getting Paramount Plus, and I'm certainly not gonna, and somebody brought up, hey, could he go back in the ring with, what was the boxer he fought?
Mayweather?
Mayweather. Yes. That ship sailed too. I have zero interest in that. I have zero interest in that. So interesting. All right. That'll do it for this edition of the 941 Sports Zone. The gift that keeps on giving. 47 down. We'll be with you again next Monday. It's probably going to have to be later because I'm probably going to be working because
he's got the weekend off.
Yes, I am heading down to Florida for it's just 10 days away now, John, as we record this on Monday, 11 days, right?
2 days. 24. I mean, two things I was going to tell you. First,
go ahead.
I got a shirt on today, little cross promotion here. Suncoast Snapper Slapper, big fishing tournament. That's every summer. I think it's the 5th annual Snapper Slapper. And if you're a fisherman in the area of the 941 Sports Zone, if you can you can get a boat together or whatever it may be, or if you want to just go check out the things at the dock or whatever it may be, look up Suncoast Snapper Slapper, and you'll be able to find all the bits and pieces of where you can go. But it is an American Red Snapper tournament. American Red Snapper season is a finite amount of time, although I think it's a little bigger, a little longer this year than it has been in the past. So get out there, and it goes to a good cause, and look for everybody to go out there and enjoy a weekend. That'll be on the weekend that you're in town, the 23rd to the 25th. It'll be the tournament, 25th being the big day, which will be on Saturday. And of course, on the 24th, our Suncoast football kickoff media day.
Presented
at Carroll GMC, with the production by Vibrant Aspect Media, and of course with the 941 Sports Zone podcast involved with that. Xavier McKnight, James Hill, Matt Geller, Rich Bedolari, asking questions of so far 17 of our local teams that have signed up for our event, looking to go 18-19 this year. And so hopefully that'll be the case. Everybody gets about 20 minutes to talk about their team, their season, their players. Not only will they be there, but we got print media there as well. We've got the guys from Rivals and On3 are going to be there as well. So it's an opportunity for you to see these coaches and these kids speak eloquently in most cases. And it's really fun to watch the coaches talk, because you see football is not the grouchy old football coach anymore.
No.
I've said it a bunch of different times that high school football coaches are 20 years ago, 25 are what college football coaches were doing. They are doing college football like stuff with having to deal with a lot of different things that, that the college football people are dealing with. Plus you're dealing with recruiters and you name it. You've got things on the field activities in regards to jumbotrons and fundraising and you name it. And I will say this, sort of being a football guy, football drives a lot of what goes on for the athletic departments in and around these schools. So the promotion of these teams and the help of these teams to kind of get it out there does lend a helping hand to other sports on campus. Yes. So that being the case, watch us. It'll be fun, interesting. If your team is on, we'll I was going to say, Rich, probably next Monday, maybe dedicate a little time to the rundown of who will be on when and all that kind of stuff. We'll go through that a little bit, get a little preview of that, but totally looking forward to it. It'll be live streamed the entire time. Then it'll be podcasted after that. Vibrant Aspect Media will be probably the host for all that stuff. I will have that information next week as well to see if they're going to be on vibrantaspectmedia.com. So the quality of the program itself is second to none. Yep. Go on vibrantaspectmedia.com and look up the media day on their website, or go to YouTube and look up Vibrant Aspect Media, or look up 941 Sports Zone Media Day, and you'll see it there as well. You'll see the production value. It is off the charts. It really is. So
Francis does an amazing job.
Yeah, the kid is really, I mean, he does so much, and he really is into his craft. You know what I mean? I always say I'm not a detail person, and he's detail all the way. You know what I mean? What he does with a football program is it's hard not to think that there's sometimes we watch some of these ESPN Plus games and saying, like, we're 50 times better than that.
Yes, absolutely.
It's crazy. So it's really, really good. So again, both two events next week, but the media day for the high school football programs, be sure to get ready to check that out on Friday the 24th.
And if you're a Port Charlotte fan, they're in the leadoff position as usual.
They are. They're 8:30.
Oh, 8:30 this year, going a little earlier. You're going to make me get up a little earlier. Okay.
Well, the other part of that is that I know that some of the coaches are morning people. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I'd start at 6. I don't care.
No, trying to get them in the mornings if I can. So that's the idea. Go a little earlier, and we're good to go. So we'll look forward to that. But yeah, Coach Ingman, he likes that first spot, and he sure does. He gets right on it right away, which is good for him. And
we should have some pretty good guests too. I remember Logan Flaherty last year, and now he knows where he's going. They've got a couple of 4 stars, don't they, John? The
Yeah, they got a
receiver, I
wide
think, is
receiver. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, Pearl.
So
Yeah,
they're going to be a fun watch this year. Not
And again,
if you're an opposing coach.
right. And
But
again, you get really it's a highlight to show how some of these athletes are very articulate, polished, not only
Yep.
athletically but academically. And so it's really a good opportunity for them to get out there, and it gives them an opportunity. Not everybody goes to college to play football, but if you've been down the road and you've been interviewed and you do some things, this stuff doesn't overwhelm you when you get a little older. And it's
Correct.
fun to be on YouTube or whatever it may be. Your buddies give you a little hard time or whatever it may be, but get up there and you get the chance to speak, and coaches like it too. I think the coaches like when they see the kids articulate themselves in a way that makes them look better and the program look better.
Yes,
as well.
absolutely. All right, for John, Final Four Missoni, second time. That's it. No more this year. Okay, can't be
No
Final
more
Four.
Final
anymore.
Fours. Yeah.
Okay. I'm Spitz, and we'll be back at you next Monday with another show of the 941 Sports Zone. Until then, so long, everybody.